Libby announced. "No need to get up. I'll override the lock for you." The door to Kelly's office slid open, and 4 puppies, each of which was the size of a mature Great Dane, tried to enter at the same time, creating a jam. Then they burst through all at once, sprawling on the floor and rolling joyfully over one another. The younger Haddad's sister followed them into the room. "Is it that time already?" Kelly asked, surveying the rambunctious puppies with a combination of amusement and dismay. "I wish we had room to keep them all, but the truth is we barely have space for Pava," Brenda said, referring to the female kale hound named after the Emperor's wife. "We would have needed to farm them out cycles ago if Jeeves hadn't temporarily rented the apartment next to ours and put in a dog door to double our space." "That was pretty nice of him." "He said it was in the benefits section of my partnership agreement for SBJ Fashions, and I didn't ask to read it. My sister's family has been adopted by the female, and one of the males took a fancy to Blythe's twins. She and Clive agreed to accept him on a trial basis, provided we give them a return option." "Well, I suppose Beowulf will keep the last 2 in line until we find somebody they can respect. How did Pava react?" "She chased them all out of the apartment 5 minutes ago. That's how I knew it was time. The Kale have invested millions of years in breeding these hounds for military service, so they know their duty. Watch this." Brenda clapped once, and the 4 puppies immediately stopped their frolicking and formed a row, sitting tall on their haunches. "Who's going to Shaina?" Brenda asked. "Fall out and wait for me in the other room." One of the puppies backed out of the row, gave each of her brothers a sniff to impress their sense on her memory, and then trotted out of Kelly's office without looking back. "Which one of you picked Blythe's kids?" The puppy on the end let its tongue loll out of its mouth, winked at the other 2, and then followed his sister. "We speak English to them all the time, so you shouldn't have any more trouble communicating than you do with Beowulf," Brenda explained. "Which means they'll understand when they want to," the ambassador observed dryly. "Okay, I guess the 2 of you are coming home with me." Kelly eyed the puppies with trepidation, and they both gave her such innocent looks that she just knew they were going to be trouble. "The house will feel pretty empty with only Pava left," Brenda remarked wistfully. The 2 women paused in the outer office, the puppies crowding around them. "You still have Walter and the baby," Kelly reminded her. "Hey, can I interest you in taking Dorothy off our hands? We'll pay room and board." "I'd rather have all of the puppies back, even without the extra apartment space. Dorothy's driving us nuts at work on the odd days she actually bothers to come in. Last week I asked her what color she wanted for the new prototypes, and she just answered, 'What difference does it make? They're just shoes.'" "She said what?" "I don't believe you. Shoes are her life." "Affy and Flazant have both come to me separately to ask if there's anything they can do to help. But even though they're Dorothy's best friends, they have trouble understanding what happened. Affy doesn't get why Dorothy is upset because David was just I can't remember her exact term, but it was a Vergalian word that implied a practice boyfriend about whom one feels possessive." "That seems like a pretty accurate description." "And Flazant keeps forgetting that Dorothy and David didn't have a negotiated companionship agreement, so she's always offering to go over the contract to check for violations." "I'll talk to Dorothy again," Kelly replied with a sigh. "Maybe the puppies will cheer her up." Brenda repressed a shudder on hearing Kelly's last 3 words. "Ugh. Did you know that Jeeves has been trying to cheer her up at work with his insane concept of humor? Trust me, you don't want examples." The female kale hound whined and scratched at the floor, evidently in a hurry to move on to her new home. Both women were glad of an excuse to drop the conversation at that point, and they followed the puppies out of the embassy. The ambassador headed for the lift tube with the 2 she was bringing home, and Brenda strolled off in the opposite direction to drop off a puppy for the twins. When Kelly exited the lift tube in the corridor outside of Mac's Bones, the 2 puppies immediately picked up Beowulf's scent and tore off in search of their father. The ambassador followed at a funereal pace, which seemed fitting given Dorothy's ongoing mourning over the loss of her practice boyfriend. "Can we keep them?" Fenna asked excitedly. Kelly halted her slow march back to the scrapped ice harvester that served as the extended family home, happy for a reason to delay entering. Aisha's 6-year-old daughter looked like a doll next to the giant puppies, which were being careful not to knock her down in their frolicking.